Hey there, Melaminah here. Welcome back to My Bikini Competition Journey. This is episode number 50, Fatigue Update. So if you've been following along for a little while, then you know that there are a few things that I've been navigating as I've been working through my competition journey. And one of those things is fatigue. So some days it's really bad and I feel like I'm just dragging my body through the world. Other days it's a little bit more manageable. You know, sometimes I'll feel like energized in the morning and then I'll kind of hit like a lower energy spot and then maybe I catch a second wind. That's pretty normal for a lot of people, I feel. But yeah, I would say more often than not lately, it's been somewhere in the middle. I haven't necessarily been dragging my body everywhere, but I haven't been very energized either. It's just this really kind of low level fatigue that I feel tired and I run out of energy pretty quickly and I don't have a lot of energy for any like extra things. So also, if you've been following along, you'll know that we've been troubleshooting this for a little while, and some of the big things that we've done to combat it are, number one, we've increased my calories. So that probably happened about 6 or 7 weeks ago. The second one is that we've reduced my lift days from 5 days a week to 4 days a week. That happened quite a while ago, and that made a big difference. And then the third thing was that we reduced cardio from from interval training to steady state. So intervals are like bursts of energy where you go as hard as you can for like 20 or 30 seconds. And then it's an active recovery where you drop the intensity down. You don't stop moving completely, but you lower the intensity for like 30, maybe 60 seconds as a recovery. And then you burst it as hard as, you go as hard as you can again, and then you just do those intervals over a chunk of time. Steady state is just, it's constant the whole time. So for me right now, steady state cardio it just looks like a walk. So I go for a brisk walk around the neighborhood, and that was also implemented at the same time that we reduced my lifts from 5 days to 4 days. And both of those things really helped a lot. Increasing my calories helped a bit too, but not as much as my coach would have liked. So that's why recently, like a couple weeks ago, we actually did a deload week. And if you missed it, I did a whole episode on what the heck a deload week is and what all that entails. So if you didn't see that one, go back and check out episode number 48, and I give all the details of the deload week. So in addition to the diet and exercise and deload week adjustments that we've made, I've also been working with my doctor to see if there's maybe a physiological reason for all of this fatigue. So let me give you the very robust list of things that we have looked into so far. We've done a lipid panel to check cardiovascular function. We've done not one, not two, but 3 fasting metabolic panels to check liver and kidney function, to check my blood sugar and protein levels. It also looks at acid-base, fluid, and electrolyte balance, and just like metabolic function in general. We've also looked at hemoglobin and hematocrit, which was to check like iron levels and red blood cells and red blood cell function and all of that. We checked for hepatitis to see if I had some kind of like liver disease going on. We've done 2 urinalysis to see if there was any kind of infection or blood or protein or glucose in my urine. We've also done a different hepatic function just to double check that the liver was functioning properly. We've checked for H. pylori, which is a bacterial infection that would be like in the GI tract. We've checked my thyroid function. We've checked for parasites. We've looked at we've done a CBC twice, and we've looked at platelets, which is another check into the red blood cells, the white blood cells, which would also tell if there's any indication of an infection going on. We've checked my vitamin B12 levels and my folate, which both of those would indicate if there's any kind of anemia going on, or if there are any kind of abnormalities with the red blood cells, either production or function. We also checked my cortisol levels to make sure that my stress hormone levels were not too off the charts. And most recently, almost out of desperation, we've checked my vitamin D level, because low vitamin D can also be an indication of fatigue, or a symptom of low vitamin D is fatigue. So that could have been the cause of it as well. So for better or worse, this entire laundry list of things that we have looked at so far has all come back 100% negative. Everything is normal. And some of these are like so normal, they are like smack dab in the middle of the continuum of, you know, low to high, which that was my vitamin D. And it was like a little bit of a slap in the face, because honestly, I was a little bit fingers crossed, like maybe this is it, you know, and then I can just take a vitamin D supplement and get some more, you know, sunshine and call it a day. But no, it was so normal. It was so normal. It was like in the exact middle. Oh my God. So anyways, everybody is at a loss as to what is going on. My coach, my physical therapist is also like really good. He's a doctor as well. And he, you know, he's really good with like fitness stuff. Obviously, he's an athlete. He works with a lot of athletes. He's really good at nutrition and all that. So I've been running a lot of this past him too. He's at a loss now. And all of my doctors are at a loss. So yay, that's exciting. The deload week, like I said, it helped a little bit, but it didn't help nearly as much as my coach was anticipating, or as much as I was hoping. So, we're kind of a little bit bummed out by that. This weekend, I decided to completely take the weekend off. The only thing I did was one session of my steady state cardio. I went for a walk around the neighborhood, but, everything else, like I structured my week last week so that all of my lifts would be during Monday through Friday, and I took the entire weekend off to just rest. We barely even left the house. I was pretty much one with my couch the whole weekend. And I was able to sleep in. I got like 9 hours of sleep one day and like 10 hours of sleep the next. And Sunday was my cheat meal day, so I had a little bit of an increase in calories there too. And Monday morning, I felt pretty good. I was more energized. I felt I could go heavier with my lifts. I did a little bit more reps with some of my lifts as well. So that was encouraging. So now we're really starting to run out of like physiological things to test for. So my thoughts now, where we are after all this testing and calorie increases and resting and like all this stuff, is that it's probably a combination of three things. One is my body is still actively trying to heal from two injuries. One is that deltoid injury, and the second one originally presented as a low back injury, but as we have healed that and worked on that, it's morphed into different things, which is totally normal. When you have an acute injury, sometimes it can kind of mask what the real problem is. And as things heal and you recover, the pain will sort of start shifting into other areas until you kind of find like the root cause of what actually happened. And it's starting to look like there is something going on with my hip. So now there's a lot of pain like in the hip flexor, so like the front of the hip. And so we're working through that. That is like the newest kind of angle that we're working on that injury. So one injury is getting a lot better, but the second one is still really active. So my body is healing that, and that takes a lot of energy. And when you sleep, especially when you sleep a lot, well, when you sleep at all, that's when your body is really given a chance to repair itself. So that's another reason why I think that that's probably a big factor, is because all of this sleep that I got over the weekend probably helped my body to give it some more time to repair. The second issue that I think is probably going on is still the GI. We're still working through what could be happening with my GI. I'm still actively fighting a lot of bloating. It has improved a bit, but you know, there's still a lot going on there. There's still a lot that we don't have answers for that as well. And you know, if there is, clearly there's something going on in my GI, and that takes a lot of energy to recover and heal and repair as well. So that could be another source of energy leak, so to say, that's causing fatigue. And then honestly, the last one is grief. It's been still, like, we still haven't reached the 1 year mark of either my mom or my dad passing. And you know, it's been a long time since I've cried. My grief doesn't really look like that at this stage, at least not in this moment. But there is always a low-level background sadness and heartbreak that I am just living with on a daily basis. And it really, there's a little bit from my mom, but really, 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 it's around my dad. It's just really hard to know that he's not in this world anymore. That's very painful. That's a very painful thought for me. And, you know, I do a lot of like little things to provide comfort for myself. Like even this sweater that I'm wearing, like, provides a tiny little minuscule amount of comfort. And so I've been really trying to find those things, whether it's drinking tea or coffee sometimes, or if it's an essential oil, or if it's, you know, wrapping myself in a blanket, or whatever it is. Coloring is kind of my most recent thing. I've just been trying to find these things that provide the little tiniest amount of comfort, and then I try to do as many of them throughout the day as I can, so that I can kind of stack this little bit of comfort, these little pieces of comfort feeling on top of each other, and build up that comfort as much as I can. And it does help this much. And I'll take it, because I would rather have, you know, a little bit of comfort than no comfort at all. But honestly, the thing that would alleviate all the problems is to just have my dad back. And that's not going to happen. And, you know, I try really hard to not subscribe to black and white thinking or all or nothing thinking. I try to make space for all possibilities, and I also try to look at things, you know, logically when possible. And, you know, but emotions are not logical. But sometimes logic can provide support. You know, but the realization and the reality are that this is it. This is how I'm going to be living the rest of my life. I'm going to be living the rest of my life without my dad in it. And I also keep coming back to this thought that today is the longest that I have ever gone without talking to my dad, you know, in a row. And every single day for the rest of my life, that will be true. And that's a hard pill to swallow. It's really difficult to be with that and to accept that. And allegedly it gets easier. I don't know. Some days I'm like, yeah, it'll get easier, you know, but other days I'm like, yeah, I don't think so. It feels like I'm going to forever and always have this pain in the background, just kind of, you know, buzzing in the background. And I have moments where it kind of goes away if I get lost in something that I'm doing or whatever. But once I kind of draw back out of that, it's there again. So as much as I've been trying to sort of discount the fact that I'm grieving, I think that that's probably a huge contributing factor to the fatigue. So yeah, so those are probably the three like main things that are causing me to have such an energy drain and make it difficult to feel energized and move with energy through the world. So anyway, I think I'll end there. That is the update on fatigue. And I guess my next step is to contact my doctor again and see if there is anything else that we can test for to see if there's, to continue to see if there's a physiological explanation for it. My coach recommended getting my hormone levels checked, but we checked my thyroid, so I don't know if it's worth doing that again. And eventually I might just have to suck it up and say that the three things that I think are the big deal are the big deal and move on. But I'm not quite there yet. I'm still trying to see if there's anything else that I can check for to just exhaust all options. Because for some reason it seems easier to deal with something when there's the physiological explanation. But anyway, so that's it. Thank you so much for following along with my bikini competition journey. If you liked this episode, please give it a thumbs up, a like. Feel free to share it with anyone else. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so that you get notifications when new episodes drop. I usually drop one every Friday for Fitness Friday. And questions, comments, concerns, interpretive dances, feel free to leave those in the comments section below, or you can DM me on Instagram. I am at Melaminah, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. So thanks again for following along, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.